Welcome to the Body of Art Show with your host, professional fine artist and holistic art coach, Catherine Lucas. Join Catherine and her expert guests as they share insights and inspiring stories of transformation that will help you develop self-mastery and truly hone your craft. Now, learn to become the masterpiece that you are with your host, Catherine Lucas.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to another episode of the Body of Art Show. I'm your host, Catherine Lucas. In today's show, I want to talk about trust and what it means to trust in the process, especially when we're navigating new territory as artists. But first, I just want to let you know how much I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy day to be here. I know your time is precious, and I want to give you as much value as I possibly can during our time together so that you leave feeling inspired and empowered. I also appreciate all the kind and inspiring feedback that so many of you have given me about the show. It truly inspires me to be here with you each time and share any experiences, knowledge, or insights that may help you master your passion. I invite you to join me on my Facebook page, Holistic Art Coach Catherine Lucas. On this page, you can ask me questions, share your thoughts, accomplishments you achieved, or even challenges that you're facing to gain insights on how to overcome them. I encourage you to post your requests for future topics that you would like to have on the show. Here, I'll post tips, inspirational messages, and ask questions so that we can share and learn from each other. I'm also excited to now be co-hosting the Partnership for the Arts talk show with host Dave Bice. Here we explore the worlds of art. You can find all of the episodes at partnershipfortheartsgroup.org. Here you'll find inspiring stories of transformation as well as insights from many other artists, including writers, musicians, and visual artists. And as always, you can connect with me on my website, bodyofart.net. I put a link to my Facebook page on my website so that it's easy for you to find. Now, before we begin, I'd just like to remind you each time that the Body of Art Show is intended for educational, inspirational, and motivational purposes. It's not a substitute for professional medical diagnosis, treatment, or advice. So absorb what resonates with you today and just release the rest. You know, when I was first learning to paint and struggling with the process, I was told by one of my instructors to just trust the process. I pondered that as a young student trying to figure out how, and even why. The idea seemed so far-fetched because I was conditioned to believe that I should always know what I was doing. It was years later that I got it. I understood what trust in the process really meant. Through experience, especially with painting, I learned that having to know everything in advance actually held me back and kept me stuck. I remember always asking my teachers, "When do you know when you're ready for the next phase?" Or "How do you know what direction to go in with your painting?" Or even, "How do you know when a painting's done?" In hindsight, I could see that I was really searching for someone to tell me what to do, and if they did, it wouldn't have been my work of art. I would have been painting their journey. I now find myself telling my own students to just trust the process when they're hesitant to move forward. But I try to expand a little more upon what I mean by that. Growing up, I learned to perceive the unknown as something to avoid. I had been conditioned to think that you had to know the answer or outcome to something before you could even advance with it. The unknown was considered unfavorable for growth, expansion, and creativity. It's not something we're taught to embrace. Even saying, "I don't know," was frowned upon because it indicated inadequacy. This is what feeds into that devastating perfectionism, which actually is a thing that gets us stuck. But I've learned that embracing the unknown actually enhances and expands creativity. It lets you engage with your art on a more dynamic level, making it very much a dance. And this is what brings life to a work of art. Now, I want to be clear here that this has nothing to do with learning the formal language or fundamentals of a craft. Skilled craftsmanship is an essential component to being an artist or a master of any trade. Skill actually facilitates creativity because it gives you the tools to realize your vision. I really have to stress this because when I decided to get a formal education in art, I was warned by so many others that it would destroy my creativity. But that is so far from the truth. You really have to learn the fundamentals of a craft before you can depart from or expand upon it, making it your own. The best writers learned the foundational rules of writing before they broke the rules and came into their own voice. Foundational skills are actually the springboard to support your journey into the unknown. These skills are the tools that will help you navigate in the dark. Now, trusting the process involves faith. Having faith is that deep sense of trust or conviction in what can't be seen. It's an inner knowing that guides you. Trusting the process is to not need to know what, why, or how something will unfold, but to just be in the present moment to experience it. When you trust the process, you have faith that your inner guidance will lead you to make the best decisions in every moment and that you'll eventually arrive at a place that's even better than you initially imagined, and it might even surprise you. This is what painting has taught me. The journey from the first mark on the blank canvas to the last brushstroke has proven to me that I have the ability to solve problems as they arise. Yes, I have an initial vision and a theme for a painting, but I've learned to be open and present to what the painting may be showing me in the moment, and by embracing that, the outcome always surpasses my initial vision. Along the way, I always experience areas of struggle. Maybe I can't get the correct value or tone, but that's just part of the dance. It always turns out that the areas of struggles are the most beautiful passages in my paintings, and it seems to show a history of brushstrokes adding to the depth of the piece. Each mark becomes a reference point leading to the next one. The more marks and reference points I have down, the more I begin to see my vision materialize and know which direction to go with my next mark. This is how it's a dance. Trusting the process is about stepping into uncharted territory and moving towards your own unique vision with faith, one step or one mark at a time. But you just have to take that first step and continue to move forward into the unknown. After taking that first step and making the initial marks, you start to see the work of art taking on a life of its own, and you engage with that. This is how the work informs you. As I've mentioned, the unknown is not something we're taught to embrace. So many of us are afraid to even admit that we don't know. It's looked upon as being intellectually deficient. But the greatest minds in history learned how to embrace the unknown and saw it as a field of possibility. They had trust in the process and faith that they would be guided through. They were present to the moment and learned to dance and co-create with whatever came their way. This is what happened for me in my journey as a painter when I decided to embrace the unknown. I just went ahead and placed my first marks on the canvas, not knowing if I had the exact value or tone correct. I just had to ballpark it, but I kept moving forward until I could see what the painting was revealing to me and then engaged with that. When I was first learning to paint, I was very rigid to the idea or image I had in my head. I had to see it through to that exact vision no matter what. If things weren't going the way I thought they should, then I would scrape off an entire day's work and start all over again the next day. Eventually, I arrived at my vision, but it seemed to lack life. It was only after continuing to show up day after day and building upon the previous layers that I started to see how the painting was informing me. When I decided to go with that and expand more upon it instead of scraping it off, the painting came alive. Before, I was so rigid to the outcome that my blinders didn't allow me to see opportunities the painting was presenting me with. Maybe I planned to paint a figure in full daylight, but something during the development made me see the figure had more power in a night sky and carried the initial expression I wanted to convey about the figure in a more powerful way. The final outcome may have the same design elements as my initial vision, but the tonal range I had in mind was not as strong as what the painting started to indicate to me. So while I'm always in the ballpark of my initial vision, the final outcome is always better than what I expect because now I'm open to letting the painting inform me. Painting is truly a dynamic exchange of energy between the subject, the painting, and the painter. You have to be in the present moment in order to engage in this energetic loop, And this is what shows through the painting, bringing it to life. Now, isn't this the metaphor for living an enriched life? Having tunnel vision for a final goal or place makes living rigid and lifeless. The blinders won't let you see opportunities arise on your path for something even greater or more meaningful for you. Being in the present and embracing the unknown allows you to see other possibilities about your life that may bring you something you've never dreamed of before. So why not dance with the canvas of your life? Now, as we wrap up today's show, I just want to impart to you that embracing the unknown opens the field of possibility in your life. Saying, "I don't know," becomes an invitation to explore new and uncharted territory. Embracing the unknown can present you with the greatest adventures of your life. So no matter what, keep moving forward. Keep creating and refining your skills, and slowly but surely you'll build momentum and hone your craft. As you continue to move forward, you'll learn new things about your skills. Maybe you'll make a new maneuver in your application of paint if you're a painter, or find a new approach to fleshing out a character as a writer. You may even find a new way to edit your work. What matters most is that you remain relentless, showing up and doing the work. If you do, you will feed the fire of your inspiration. Well, I want to thank you all again for listening to the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and would love to hear any comments you have about today's episode. You can do this by subscribing to the Body of Art Show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn Radio and leave any comments there. I invite you to leave your review and ratings on iTunes as well. Don't forget to join me on my Facebook page, Holistic Art Coach Catherine Lucas, to let me know what you think about today's episode. And remember, you can always connect with me on my website, bodyofart.net. That's spelled BODYOFART.net. Here you can find all of my previous episodes and opt in for my podcast sign up. That way, every show will be sent directly to your inbox so that you don't have to go looking for it each time. Meanwhile, please stay tuned for more insights, advice, and inspiration in the next episode. Until next time, I want to leave you with this one masterpiece of insight by Nike Corporation. Just do it! On that note, I empower you to take charge of your art and become the masterpiece that you are.
You've been listening to The Body of Art Show, hosted by Catherine Lucas. The Body of Art Show has been brought to you by Body of Art Enterprises Incorporated, your source for individualized art mentorship and coaching. Our mission is to educate and support aspiring artists to step into their own personal power and master their passion. To learn more, go to bodyofart.net.